Bore da draig. Megan dwi. Sut ci? Iawn, diolch. Dwi'n ifed te a claith. Idi ci aso pizza bach?
Dim diolch. I'm not really a dragon, you know. It's me, Snorkers. I've gone undercover because today we're investigating a computer from Wales in the early 1980s, the Dragon 32. We'll be looking at 3 games by Kevin Smith of Swansea. So, before we faff around some more, before they spot me that is, let's crack on! Ha-ha!
We're looking at the 3 games you find at the start of Making the Most of Your Dragon 32 by Clive Gifford. These games are all written by Kevin Smith of Swansea. They come with no explanatory notes, you just have to jump right into it. So here we are loading it from virtual tape. This game was written on the 5th of December 1982. Let's just found the tape loading. Obviously Dragon 32 is in green. The green of the valleys, really rather lovely. Nice for a change. It's now loading. And it's loading, took about 30 seconds to load. And we now run. And we get our lovely title screen. The colours here are not right. This, I believe, should be, the green should be cyan, the white should be buff. And I don't know why it's not. But then we get an actual title screen. Invaders by K. Smith, 5th of December 1982, for the Dragon 32. 3 lives to start, bonus life at 10,000, hit a key to start. And you control the game using the arrow keys. Left is left, right is right, up is fire. We draw 3 bonus graphics on the screen. We're in high definition mode, but it's black and white, which is fine. And here we are, we're at the bottom. We fire up, there is the bonus mothership. Notice there my fire went a bit funny. And I can't find a way, I can't work out why it's doing that. And also the alien fire occasionally splits as well. Then it just doesn't work. I'm not quite sure why that is. But we have to clear the screen of aliens. If you hit the mothership, you get a bonus, which is nice. And there it is. When it flies above, you fire at double speed. It's a perfectly solid little game. One thing you might notice is we do not have an on-screen display of lives. And we don't have an on-screen display of score. Displaying text on the high resolution screen of the Dragon 32 was not a simple thing. You have a choice between high res and low res. Low res you can print whatever you like. High res you've got pixel graphics. There are techniques in the Dragon 32 magazines involving considerable amounts of machine code to do this. I'll try and do it in a basic way because I'm a basic man. This is my first ever Dragon 32 program. But it's a perfectly solid game. They're destroying my bases. They're not descending down the screen, if you notice. But they're certainly causing some damage. Cursed up, there's another one flying above. That's the mothership. Perfectly pleasant bleeps and bloops. Like the Spectrum, the Dragon 32 could make sound, but could only do one thing at a time. So making sound stops the game. But the graphics are perfectly serviceable for a Space Invaders clone, and it moves quickly. It does move pretty quick. Certainly on the Spectrum, this sort of thing would be very slow. A lot of things moving about. Someone managed to do a reasonably fast-moving Invaders theme, but basically the aliens don't move at all, which worked a lot better, strangely enough. So again, my fire is glitching. When the fire glitches, when you get hit, you get a small bleep, but nothing else indicating that you've been hit. And there we are, out of lives. Score is 1063. So XX is the number of aliens left, and had 5 left before I ran out of lives.
Morgan Dewey! Arr.
The second game in the book is Lunar Lander, again written by Kevin Smith, on the 29th of December 1982, when I'd have been 6 years old. You don't enter the velocity, fuel, etc. in figures, but in fact in a high resolution arcade game Of course, this is based on the arcade game by Atari, and of course, based on the mission by NASA. Computer draws a lunar landscape and your landing base. You must control your ship to land on the base without hitting anything on the way down. Most importantly, you must let the craft down extremely gently to succeed. Oh, that's not good. That's gone a bit weird. I think the structures are a bit odd. Oh, there's a spaceship. Oh, we crashed. Okay. That was rather strange. I have double-checked the code, by the way, so this is the code as written, and it seems all right. So let's hit the key to try again. So we use the less than and greater than to move the ship, and press A to slow down. Here we are. A height on the left. Nice lunar landscape. Fill it all in. There's the base, and here's the ship. So let's move it down. Oh. And we've gone through the surface of the moon. That's not good. Let's try that again. Here we are. Nice effective lunar landscape. Wibbly wobbly. Looks nice and rocky. Fill it in. And there's our base. Let's shift over there. Come on, slow down. Oh, no, that's too much slowing down. Oh, no, come on. Bit more. Gentle. Oh, too much. Gentle. Gently does it. Yes. The Eagle has landed with 3.5 points out of 10.
Need more leather, do we? And Buccaneer. Arr.
The third game we're looking at today is Missile Command by Kevin Smith again, but also Ben. This was written on the 3rd of January 1983, so I imagine the 3 games were written over the Christmas holidays by Mr. Smith. And as you'd imagine, Missile Command is a copy of Missile Command. So off we go when you run it. You move your sight using the arrow key, which indicates the required direction. Nice and simple. To fire, press the number of the base you wish to fire with. All very Atari. Let's hit a key. And here we are. P mode 4. There's the cursor, and here come the incoming missiles. And you fire from the 4 bases. Your missiles fly instantly and have a very narrow range of movement. Very narrow, target area. You've got to be within 1 of the plus or minus 1 of the warhead. And unfortunately, when you move your cursor, you move by 4 pixels at a time. The good news is your missile batteries have infinite ammunition, and it doesn't really matter which one you use. So here the missiles are just wobbling all over the screen, changing direction. So these are what I believe are called MARVs, these more advanced versions of warheads that can change direction. In the Missile Command, the arcade game, you've got smart bombs that could evade. These are just randomly wobbling about. And they're very hard to hit. Which in a way is accurate because ABM missiles required nuclear warheads exploding, small ones, in order to take out incoming missiles. And here you're firing away. And I'm trying desperately to get a hit. And I've not got it yet. Come on. We're trying to save whales to incoming attack. And those warheads keep coming. Even though I'm very, very close, they can't actually get any closer. Let's try these ones. No. And they're still coming in. This is not good. Change your direction again. That one in the middle. Can I stop them before they impact? Yes, I have. If you hit enough missiles, then you get on to the next phase, which is exactly the same as the last one, because there is no score, and all that happens is when you get to the next phase screen, you get a little tune, a small break, and then it resets the program. So you get all your lives back as well. It's drawn nicely. There we are. So let's see what happens if we do nothing and just die. Here they come, the missiles. You get 7 missiles in each phase, 3 lives, and infinite warheads. But the tricky thing is actually hitting the missiles because the cursor isn't very accurate, and neither are your explosions. You're gonna be. It's like what's the phrase they used to use in SDI? You've got to hit a bullet with a bullet, and hitting a bullet with a bullet is rather tricky. You can see things in museums where bullets have hit other bullets, but usually they're not bullets in flight, but bullets in someone's pocket that have been hit by a bullet. Actually hitting a bullet out of midair with another bullet, it's theoretically possible, but incredibly unlikely. It's like shooting a particular raindrop with a bow and arrow with a blindfold on while unicycling. So here come the warheads. We're coming in. Will this be Fred's Tiger Bay? We're not sure. We're going to find out soon enough. Here they come. Hold on to your hats. Here they come. And that's game over. Hard lines. Start again.
Prynhawn da Draig. Owen dwi.
Prynhawn da, Owen.
Dwi'n bwyta. Cennin. A Selsig. Selsig?
Dim diolch. The disguise is working, isn't it? Ha ha! Well, those were fun. So I think now, though, we can work on making them better. Shall we?
So this is the Snorkified improved version of Invaders. I've done an English and a Welsh version. Actually, it's the Dragon 32. You're limited with what you can do, in this case by my skill, but also by memory. So the game loads some tape as you would expect. I wanted to do more. Some bits I couldn't quite understand, but I gave it a go anyway. So this is my first Snorkified Dragon 32 program, so there's going to be some loose end things you can do better. So we have the title, which is Goris Ginria, which is Invader in Welsh. I've done that with a nice drawing. The colours, again, are wrong. White should be buff, the green should be cyan. And again, I've given the title, translated the title screen into Welsh. The English version has the English version as you'd expect. No change so far. So, Space Invaders, you get various things you'd expect. One thing you'll see on this screen is a new graphic, some sort of star effect. Because what I wanted was, when you shoot something, get an explosion effect. See, up it goes. Bam! Little bleep. And a thing. I would like to have the score on the screen. You cannot easily have the score, which is text, on the high-res screen. It's doable if you use machine code, which I'm not going to do. I also couldn't fix the shooting, that didn't work. So I couldn't have score. I tried to do drawing of the score, as turn the score into a string, and then draw each digit as you go along. And I ran out of memory. Ran out of memory when I got to drawing the 0. So, okay, how else could we get a sense of progress? So I thought, okay, you've got 20 aliens on the screen. Whenever you shoot one, you get a bleep. Why don't you have the bleep ascend in scale? So as you kill more aliens, the bleep gets higher and higher. So you have a bit of excitement that way. It'd also be nice to have the lives on the screen. So at the bottom left, you see the lives. And when you die, rather than a very short bleep, I made the bleep a lot slower and also a lot lower, so it's more likely to notice. Only thing I will point out is, as the game goes on, the alien shots go through your lives at the bottom left, as you see there, and start wiping them out. I also decided that the mothership, which I can never ever bloody shoot anyway, was happening too often. So when the mothership turns up, everything stops. And it just spoils the flow of the game. So I said, no, make the mothership. It does still appear now and again, but I think I made it appear about half as much as it used to. So I wanted the aliens to drop down, and I couldn't find a nice way of doing it. Because what it does, for each row of the aliens, it takes a snapshot of the row, and then puts it back again, but a bit to the left or a bit to the right, and does those in turn. And I had them marching down the screen, and it just didn't work, and they just kept marching down and marching down. And I thought, no, just stick nice and simple. We've added in a little explosion effect. We've added a live marker, and we've changed the bleeps. So I thought, that'll do for Space Invaders. It's a perfectly solid little game. The joys of high-res graphics on the Dragon 32. So let's skip on a bit. Keep moving forward. Try and shoot the aliens. We've now cleared a wave, so we now have 3415 points. The word for score in Welsh has an accent on it, and I couldn't find a way of doing that either in text. On the Spectrum, you could draw something over a graphic we print over. I couldn't find something like that on the Dragon 32, so I found a word that didn't have an accent on it, which is points. It seemed to work okay. And then when you run out of lives, he goes, yeah, you ran out of lives. And a score of 3,661.
Doing Hoffy A.
Lunar Lander. So, with the Dragon 32, you can hold down a key, but then it doesn't count anymore. Unlike the Spectrum, where you get repeat keys, you don't get repeat keys in the Dragon 32. So, in order to use thrust, you have to keep banging down the A key in order to thrust and hope it picks it up, because you can't just hold the key down. I thought that's a bit rubbish, so I changed that. So when you press A, you activate thrust, and thrust keeps on until you turn it off again. It makes it a little bit trickier to land, but that's what you get here. I've also made the first level easier. Choice of 3 levels. That was the first, the Sea of Swans, where the landscape is mostly flat, and you've got a nice big area to land in. Medium is the Crimson Crater. I'm using the colour palette of the Dragon 32. And here we're drawing upwards. We're drawing either along and upwards, so it's a little bit more mountainous. It's a reasonably effective way of drawing a wibbly-wobbly line, Mr. Smith's done. And we fill it in with, this is red, a medium-sized hole, activate thrust, and then you tap left and right as before, and then it's just a little bit harder to land. But I landed, got 5 marks out of 10. I still haven't added fuel. It was hard enough as it was without adding fuel. And moving on to the most difficult level, Magenta Mountains, is in the second colour palette. Because the classic Moon Lander, you have to balance your velocity with fuel, and it was ridiculously hard as it was without running out of fuel. So I thought I'd leave fuel as it is. I think the thing on the left is meant to be altitude. I could have used it as a fuel, some sort of fuel tank, but I thought no, stop for now. Now because it's much more mountainous, you've got a much narrower hole to land in. So you can't hit the sides either. It's a little bit tricksy. And of course it's magenta, the most dangerous of all colours. So you have to land not too fast and do it properly. And I landed too fast. Oh dear. So it's nice and quick to try again though. And now let's get the Welsh version. Again, translating everything into Welsh, roughly using Google Translate. You've got the Slefnor Elich, which is the Sea of Swans, Crater Widoch, which is the Crimson Crater, and Magenta Mountains. Again, plays as before. And all the end text is, of course, in Welsh, now, as you would expect. Press a key to continue. Here is the Crimson Crater. Coming a little bit fast. All might be okay. Up a bit, left a bit, right a bit. It's tricksy. It's definitely tricksy. You can see why the astronauts were highly trained. 4 out of 10. Respectable. Respectable. And that's now trying the hardest difficulty, the Mindith Magenta. There'll be no Welsh word for magenta, seemingly. And come on, come on, come on. Oh dear. And I crashed. So that was the Snorkified Lunar Lander by Kevin Smith and improved by me, hopefully.
Ruin if they'd see.
So this is the third game by Kevin Smith and Ben, which I've improved. See on the title screen we have the instructions, but Shift moves your arrow key faster. And we saw there a flash of a mushroom cloud. And here we have various changes you can see. On the bottom of the screen we have 3 domed cities, whereas previously the landscape was filled in. Now it is black and white. And we have 3 named cities, Swansea, Cardiff and Newport, 3 cities along the south coast of Wales. Obviously the Dragon 32, we've got to defend them. The game doesn't end when 3 warheads hit the ground. The game ends when all 3 cities are destroyed and there are no bonus cities. When you hit a warhead, you get the standard little bleepy noise, a little crosshairs will appear, which is actually a circle, and then we clear out some of the lines. If you notice, this is the first level, and all the warheads are going the same direction, left a bit and down a bit. This is intentional. Previously, the warheads wobble around a bit, which I thought was quite good for later levels when it's meant to be trickier. But level 1, they only go one direction, down a bit and left. Stage 2, they can go straight down faster or left a bit, and then as levels progress, they get different stages. I also increased the mission, the radius of effect of the warheads. We have a score. So previously, next phase would just be play the game again. Now you've got into phase, you get a score, you keep the score, keep the cities on to the next phase, you get your missiles back. There was an interesting bug where when you shot a missile, it counted as a hit, but didn't actually reset the missile. So you could never actually stop the missiles. On the other hand, if you got a close enough to fire a warhead at a missile, you could just hit it 4 times and move to the next level, which I fixed that. So once you hit a warhead, it resets. On level 1, you have 7 incoming warheads. What you see is what you get. Level 2, once you hit them, they will then reset, so you get 14 warheads in total. So they start again, and they start trickling down. And they can be tricky to see, which is intentional. Additionally, your missile bases have limited ammunition and can run out. There's no actual difference in which one you use, to be perfectly honest with you. They don't have any range, they fire instantly. But if they run out of ammunition, you can't use them, and that may cause you to miss a shot. Also, if a missile base is hit, then that's out of action for the rest of the turn, because obviously they've been destroyed by warheads. So warheads are coming in, and when we hit, we actually get a little mushroom tag graphic. Graphics on the Dragon 32 are a little bit tricksy and don't always seem to work very well. Documentation suggests the manual is in fact wrong on how big an array you need. But here, I'm definitely trying to defend Cardiff, Newport. There is a wraparound, so Swansea, the warhead of Swansea as it's trickled around is now appearing above Newport. We'll have a chance to catch it before everyone in Newport's destroyed. Looks like I won't have a chance to. As Newport destroyed, radioactive fallout is increased by 1. In Classic Missile Command, once an area is free of cities or a base is free of missiles, there's no point defending it, which is fine for Missile Command, the arcade game. However, for this, you can then have a long period of time where you're defending Cardiff and ignoring everything else. I thought, well, that's not realistic. So whenever a warhead hits the ground, radioactive fallout increases by 1. When that hits 11, it's game over. And this does not reset between turns. So you have to watch out now. And here you can see now this is phase 3, the warheads are a lot more wibbly wobbly. Also, when they go straight down, they go down a lot further because they go down a number of pixels relative to the stage rather than just 1. So they're faster as well. So I got a lot of this advice from Tony Turner's book, Missile Commander, available on his website, arcadeblogger.com. It's an excellent history of the game Missile Command, how it's developed, and how he came to be world champion. It's well worth a read, highly recommended. Missile Command, written, of course, by Dave Toyer of Atari. I played Missile Command a couple of times. Once in a Chinese takeaway as a child. I didn't do very well. And later again at Blackpool Play Expo in the before times. And that was excellent as well. It's a very good game. What's interesting to find out is there's a banner above the screen that originally was going to be full of useful information when they took it out because it was too confusing. Here we have a mushroom cloud over the radioactive remains of Newport. But everything's going reasonably well. So I think we should skip ahead a little bit. Here we've now skipped forward a bit. We're now at stage 5, I believe. Warheads are coming all over the place. I managed to keep Cardiff safe. I lost Swansea some time ago. And the mushroom clouds sprouting all over the south coast. How many can I stop? Not enough. Too much radiation built up, everyone died. We've managed to recreate Welsh threads. I managed a score of 11,879 points. Got to phase 5. Now let's look at the Welsh version. So here is the Welsh version. As you'd expect, I've translated everything into Welsh using Google Translate. Hopefully done a better job this time. There appears to be no Welsh word for shift, so that's just shift. But essentially, you move the cursor around, press shift to go faster, press the buttons to progress, and press A key to start. And straight away you notice that it's in colour. There was a line of code that didn't seem to do much. If you took it out, it broke the game, but it didn't seem to do much on its own. It was puzzled me, so left it as it was. And I believe these games were written by Mr. Smith, possibly over his Christmas holidays. And there were a number of small errors. And I noticed that the game had colour codes, but was black and white, which made no sense. So I've made a very small change to line 70, which originally was P mode 3 brackets 1. It's now P mode 3 brackets 1, colon screen 11, colon PCLS, and instantly get colour. So the names of the towns have changed, Abertawe, Cardiff and Casnewydd, because those are the Welsh names of the cities. But we now have a white background that probably should be buff. A green line for the dome, the land, that probably should be cyan. Orange warheads coming in. And magenta everything else for the buildings. It works exactly the same. And it's rather jolly in colour. I've done colour versions of both the English and the Welsh versions because it was a bit of a change. And I didn't know if it was right or it's wrong. Because I'm not a Dragon 32 person. Now you proceed to the next level. Again, everything's in Welsh. Bonus Cyfnod, 100. Now moving on to the third phase, only Cardiff remaining. In Missile Command, the arcade game, you had use of a trackball, which gave you really good control over how far you moved, how fast you moved. You could spin the thing and make it really fast, and you can have exact control. With the game as written, you can move the targeting reticule 4 pixels at a time, up, down, left, and right, which wasn't ideal. I wanted to be able to move it faster, but then you lose the fine control. So by having shift, you can make quite big jumps, and you need to make big jumps as the warheads come down faster and faster. But I could then do the small adjustments to make able to hit. Also, the increased radius of effect, rather than being 1 pixel either side, I improved that code by using the abs function. It starts out at 7 and then gets smaller and smaller as you progress. The idea is you're farming warheads, explosive warheads, and you're going to hopefully knock things out. So there are 2 ways to lose this game. Either radioactive fallout builds out to us too high and everyone dies, or you lose all 3 cities. You see here I've got a warhead I've let get far too close to Cardiff. Here it comes. We get a terrifying orange mushroom cloud.
Noswaith da, Draig. Dai dwi. Noswaith da, Dai. Sut di ci? Dim y ffi sifft Olaf. Dwi dim un offi crancod. Well, shh, you seem nice. I hope he'll be fine in his last shift of the job. I've heard some bad things happening in the sea. So, that was our little introduction to the Dragon 32. With 3 games from someone who may have gone on to greater things. Possibly writing The Wild Bunch for the ZX Spectrum. Possibly writing Into Africa. Maybe going to America, becoming a big star. Who knows? But anyway, thank you for watching, and as we say on the Dragon 32, Will.
Moon Lander.
Wah, wah, wah.
He's the man with the Armstrong touch. A buzzy touch.
Wah, 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 wah.
Such a one-hander.
Wah, wah, wah.
Dropping down to land on the Sea of Swans.
Wah, 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 wah.
Cool as the falls. Retro thrust will come out of his rear, but his skill can't disguise what you fear. For a valley's girl knows when he's kissed her. It's the taste of cheese from Mr. Moonlander.
Wah, wah, wah.
Zeta Jones, beware of his lunar module.
Wah, 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 wah.
It's got nodules. He lands on the moon like a loon. He watches cartoons. He lands on the moon like Mr. Spoon.
Balabap.